welcome to Learn, Grow, Bloom. In this episode, Keaton and I have some really neat things to show you. First of all, you want to hold yours up, Keaton, so they can show it? You can show it to them. These are stepping stones that we made out of Quikrete. And these would make great gifts, but they'd also be great just for in your garden, in your flower garden. If you need stepping stones, a little walkway to go from one area to the other, they're really a reasonable way to make stepping stones. So these actually that we created a while back are colored. We colored the concrete, we used dye, and today we're just going to use regular concrete. We're not going to dye them. So we'll set these down and we'll just go ahead and show you how we got started with this. We're going to add water, Keaton. And so here's your stirrer, if you will, to stir the concrete. And if you want to share with me, we can share this shovel as well, but we're going to add water to it. So the whole idea is you don't want it to be too soupy, but you want there to be enough water that it all gets mixed in. You don't want any dry concrete. So go ahead and mix that. And I have mine up here, and I'm going to trade places here for a second. And I'll bring mine up and mix mine. And what we brought are seashells and also some cut, or I guess broken pieces of tile that are real pretty that we've used, and we're just recycling them because we've used them in different areas of our house. We just have extra pieces, so we got a hammer and we went to town banging them up and we made them into small chunks. So that's what we're going to use to put into the concrete. I can tell you need more water, don't you?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And I do too. It's almost like making a mud pie. Did you make a mud pie when you were little ever? I used to make mud pies when I was a little girl all the time at my grandma's house. It's kind of a messy job. And the thing that we're using, the tub or the container part that we're using at the bottom that we're stirring them in is just a planter. It's a planter where plants will just drain their water, so you could sit the pot in here, and this is the drainer place for the planter. And I've kind of learned the hard way. I used to just mix up concrete in a wheelbarrow and then have a whole bunch of concrete and messes to clean up later on, and I've kind of learned the hard way that this is a lot easier because then you just have your mess here, and if you end up with too much water, you can dump it out. But I also learned that once you get it all mixed and stirred in, the concrete tends to dry, and it also, the water just evaporates. So once we have this set up, is yours set up pretty good? You want to use this to kind of smooth it over and settle it all in? Do you want to use that? And I'll trade you. Make sure mine's all mixed in good. And I've pulled all of my Quikrete out from the edges. And then what we're going to use is we are going to use shells or tile. So I'm going to set this aside. Are you ready to set yours aside? Which do you want to use, Keaton? Do you want to use shells or tile for yours?
Both.
You want to use both? Okay. Well, I think I'm going to use just shells on mine. And then what we're going to do is I'll start with a shell. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that they lay pretty low. I think I've got too much water. I'm going to dump some of mine out. You can go ahead and start. There we go. Okay. You put shells, and you have to make sure when you put yours in, Keaton, that they kind of just sink in a little bit more because you don't want the edges of your tile sticking up. So just tap it in there gently. There you go. Perfect. Okay. And just make your design however you want. You can go all the way around the edges, in the middle, and keep going. And then, of course, how long do you think this is going to take to dry? Because we have to remember that this isn't going to just be ready to go and pop out in 30 minutes. This is going to take
A couple hours.
I would say a couple hours, or maybe even overnight. Honestly, it could take overnight. So then the neat thing about it is when you get ready to pop them out, this concrete just releases itself away from the plastic, and they pop out real easily. So you can put however many you want in. Are you done?
Almost.
Okay. So if you have a gift that you need to have for someone special in your family coming up, or if you have the need for stepping stones in your yard somewhere, this would be a really nice way to add stepping stones to your yard and have your kids join in the fun, because it's a lot of fun to do this. Thanks for joining me here today with Learn, Grow, and Bloom, and we're going to create even one more of these stepping stones. And you can step into fun.